All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being patient. Without further ado, we have with us tonight the pleasure of talking with the Fonzarelli Project. Fonz, how are you doing tonight?
Good with it, man.
That's what's up. That's what's up. But you got, dude, shouts out to the dogs tonight. We have fucking Kyrie, my dog, and then it's Cleo, right?
This one's Lil Bro.
Lil Bro. Oh, okay. Sorry,
Yeah.
I know you're a
Cleo's
multi-dog
over there.
man now. True. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe for the animals. Do it for the animals alone. That's right. Absolutely. We're getting into another episode of Behind the Glass. This is episode 5. Thank you guys for tuning in, checking in with us. We are back again with an exciting guest. Today we have the Fonzarelli Project with us. He is a producer. He is a recording engineer. He is an artist. He is a studio owner. Currently residing in Arizona, so I'm very excited to tap in with him today. How have things been going with you lately, Fonz?
Man, I'm just in a kind of a bit of a couple weeks where I've just been kind of like chilling, like just kind of enjoying and kind of figuring out the new space. I put, about like two months almost of like just straight work, just maybe 16-hour days. Sometimes there's a couple 24-hour days. And
Sure.
that's rolled in. We're doing a little interview right now. No, bro. Chill out. Come here. Good morning. Here, come here. Come here. Bro, come here.
There's Cleo.
But,
Says that to Cleo one time.
Yeah, come here. Hey. Come here. No, he's moving, bro. I'm just going to quit. Right. Come here. Come here. Stop. This dude's nuts. But yeah, it was just, 2 months of going hard every day, just in here building and just sawdust and fiberglass and shit like that, So it's kind of like a bit of a time to just kind of like figure things out, figure out new techniques. Anytime you open a new studio, you're gonna have you gotta troubleshoot it, So been having a lot of just like how at restaurants they'll have like soft. Well, I guess you could call it soft opening sessions.
Yeah.
So invite different artists to come in. Like for instance, my boy that just came in. Him and I are working on a project, but we've had a couple sessions here. We just had a big session the other night, had like 11, 12 people. So I'm like, ironing out the wrinkles, trying to figure out, because it's not like a super, super large space, right? So I'm trying to figure out where to strategically put little tables and things like that so people can still like kick it and not feel like super crammed in. Just things like that, dude.
For sure. So tell us a little bit about what you've been building for 2 months, because I know, but I know that there's a lot of people who don't know.
Okay, so I've been building a recording space, but it's not necessarily for my use. It's for other engineers and producers and artists to use. Ideally, if this place is working as I had in mind, I won't really be the one here unless I'm actually booking my own sessions. But I want this to be kind of like a bit of a launch pad for other engineers that are right out of school who don't have, the space that will allow for them to, go fucking crazy and get a 12-inch sub and turn that shit up and create, without bothering their roommates or their neighbors or whatever the case may be. Or, I just have like gear that I've collected over the years. So for somebody who's right out of school who might not have the money to just put down on everything at once, you can come here for rates as low as like $15 an hour, just depending on the time of the day. So I'm just trying to make it like a really tangible way for people to start building their book of business, I remember when I got out of school, I was just like charging $15 an hour, $12 an hour, depending on who you were. Because I knew I wasn't like super great at mixing, but I could do a little something, right? And there's some people that'll pay. So I was trying to figure out a price range for those people too. So it's that, it's a place where you can come and vibe. I'll give you guys a little tour in just a second. But it's a place where you can have listening parties. You know, I did some pretty cool design in here. I just wanted you to, when you walk in here, feel like it's a little bit of a different world, and kind of feel like you're a little bit pampered, right? Like maybe if you want to, you know, it's not like a very pretentious place. It's just very comfortable, but you can either feel good rocking sweats in here, or you can come in looking super fly and take pictures, and you know what I'm saying? It caters to either style, any level of comfort.
Nice.
You know, so that's
Nice.
kind of the model of it, you know, a creative space.
For sure. And I know you mentioned it being like hard when you were starting out, like trying to get yourself established like right out of school. Do you want to take us through how you first got started doing what you're doing? Either, you know, if you want to talk about producer side or the artist side or the studio side, like anything that you want to talk about.
Yeah, I think the producer and engineer side is a little more linear.
Okay.
I could take you on that little journey first, but it really just started with me. I knew I had the need for it, but I was kind of looking to find somebody to do it for me, and I was already looking through a catalog at one of the community colleges here for like a business degree, because I was also looking to start businesses, and I was trying to figure out how to write a business plan. I know shit, you know, and so I've always thought like I've always tried to figure out the easier angle on it. So I figured I'd get in business school and cozy up with an instructor and just like get them to show me how to write a business plan and take some shortcuts and figure shit out that way, you know. But when I opened the catalog, I saw audio production engineering, and I was like, man, well, if I can meet the people I want to meet over here, I can meet the people I need to meet over here too. So I had like a couple classes with some people that, you know, had some engineering under their belt or whatever, you know, for whatever dog they were working on. Had one kid who was trying to help me with my project, but like he didn't finish out the semester, so I was left with a drive with a bunch of unfinished work.
Damn.
Which was damn, right? But at the same time, it ended up being a blessing in disguise, because like as I was working through my Pro Tools classes, they would give you like one song to work on, right? Mm-hmm. And so you would finish your day's assignment on that song, but then I would pull in all my other songs and do my day's assignment on those.
Nice. Okay.
Right? And so I'm like applying this stuff in different ways on different songs.
In like real time.
In real time for like a whole week. Right. You know what I mean? So you can see how like throughout the semesters, like now I'm getting better at like, you know, of course I'd like go back and redo stuff as you learn like more technical concepts and applications. You're going to go back and revisit your songs, and it's just one of those things where it took me years, you know, because I always tell people, like, even if you learn all the controls on Pro Tools or whatever DAW, like, your ear still has to get tuned, and that is just going to take years anyways. You can't, like, go to the gym and hit that like your biceps.
It's just hours. Know? It's like, it's just like the hours you spend in the gym. You got to spend hours training your ear the same way you train your muscle. You know?
But more so because there is no tool to help you isolate that muscle.
True.
You know what I mean?
Point. Very good point. Yeah.
That's Unless you're just like really just listening to like a frequency all day. You're like, okay, and you're memorizing like the way that the vibration hits your jaw or some fucking weird shit, right? But yeah, you get what I'm saying. So yeah, I just started those classes and started applying my shit that way, and bought some gear. I got in an accident, and I got a little bit of a settlement. Not much, it was like 5 bands. But I remember my first check was like $600. First thing I went and got was like a machine, like the controller or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah. I've seen it at your house.
Yeah. Went and got that, gave it to the dude that was supposed to be mixing my shit, and I was just like, just make me beat from time to time, bro.
That's fire. Good trade.
4 months go by, I didn't have no beats. I'm like, give me that shit. I was like, let me figure out how to make my own beats.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, because I was also like tired of scrolling and looking for beats, you'll spend hours doing that anyway. So why not spend hours and hours like practicing and making beats if it's in you to want to do that?
True.
So I started doing that, and then it just kind of evolved from that, right? Like once you're making your own stuff, you have stuff to mix on, even if you don't have clients, right? So you can kind of hone your skills and
So
your
yeah,
craft
you're
that way.
working on your off days at that point.
Yeah. So so then that, you know, just started bringing more clients and shit, dude. Just it is, you know, it's just been what it is at
So
this
it's
point.
grown. For those that are not aware, it's grown to now somewhere where, or to the point that you have your own home base, which was your original studio, and you've opened an additional facility, kind of, in a way, almost to like remove, because I'm sure it's got to be stressful. Blaine talked about this last week, but it's got to be stressful having people come into the place that you live, regularly in order to work. Like that's your working space and your living space. So I'm sure at least a little bit of having two venues is now, you know, there's some work that you can actually like get out from your living space to be able to still be productive even when you want to like have a day at home or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a there's some degree of that, but quite honestly, I think it's like, you know, people people want to feel like they're in like a commercial space. They don't want to feel like they're in a home studio,
I feel that.
you know? And it's like just right off the bat, like that just sounds like, oh, okay, that's a no-brainer. Yeah, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
But quite honestly, dude, I've seen like unless you're like building it from like the ground up, most of these rooms are all the same room, you know, made of the same material. So it's like it's the treatment that's done after the fact, and you know, for most people, it's just like what it looks like, you know, like what does it look like? What's the allure of it, or like,
Aesthetic.
you know what I mean? How
Yeah.
popular of a studio is it? Who records there? Right? That's a lot of questions you get. Like, well, who else do you record? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Or they'll say like, is it a home studio? Or but they'll never ask about the microphone.
Yeah, which is like arguably, aside from treatment, like one of the most important parts of getting a good sound or like getting a specific sound is using a specific mic. So you would
They
think,
won't even ask if you have like what versions of auto tune do you have. Which
yeah,
some people it doesn't matter, but some people are very specific about it. So, for instance, like there was a session here the other day, and the videographer is like a really well-known videographer here, but he's also like an artist too, right? And so his cousin was actually the guy who booked the session to record. Sorry, and homeboy was like, "You guys have like the original version of auto tune, you know?" So it was like we had to switch, you know, midstream, and then he had to record everything else. So it's just like just knowing these things going in. But had we not had it, you know what I'm saying? It's just like preference based things that you would think like somebody would be more interested in than like what's the address or like what's the setup. Because quite honestly, dude, I had to work a lot harder to get this space sonically treated than I did at my home studio.
yeah,
Like
there's probably a lot
when I
more
my
variables.
studio, it was like already sounded just great. Like it's in a converted garage. So, but either way, it's at a home address. So when people pull up, they're just like, "Am I at the right place?"
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
So here, it's just a whole different, you know, perception is everything. You know, in some cases.
I feel it. I think this next question ties well into what we were just talking about, but can you tell us a little bit about the hardest thing about what you do?
You just have to have like really good soft skills. So soft skills being like people skills. You know, studio is like a place where people like, you know, release, dude. They get drunk, they get fucked up, they get in arguments a lot of times with other people that are on the song. I mean, dude, I've seen crazy shit. You know, fights between boyfriend and girlfriend, like just. So I would say that's the shit you got to deal with. You know what I mean? And still be business minded and still keep yourself safe, you know, especially
True.
when you're dealing with like people who are fucked up or people who might have a tendency to be violent or both. You know what I mean? You got to really know how to like be diplomatic or just like at least get enough respect in the situation to where people are just like they'll leave when you ask them to leave.
True. Yeah, I feel that.
Other than the obvious, right? Like having to dial fear in and fucking having to figure out how to, you know, get in your 10,000 hours while you're still trying to pay rent and shit.
Yeah, true.
You know?
I think it's probably easier though, based on what you were talking about being able to work on your off days. So even when days where you don't have clients, you know, being able to work on your own music as far as getting towards that 10,000 hours.
Yeah, but not everybody makes their own music. You know what I mean?
True.
So it's like, what do you do, bro? I really feel for those guys, especially if you're like a guy who didn't go to like a school or doesn't live in a place like that, and you're just learning off YouTube. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And you live in a small ass town, right?
Yeah.
Granted, you know, we have the internet and shit, but even us in the industry, we're always like pretty excited when we find out something like, you know, I forget what it's called, like a sound better or something like that. Did you ever go to that site?
I think I've heard about it. Sounds very familiar.
Yeah, so you can go to that site and let's just say you're like an engineer and you're trying to get mixes for people, do mixes. You can just offer free mixes or mixes for $10. You know, you can mix a whole song. You can say, hey, I'm just really dope at doing auto tune. I can just tune it for you and send it back to you. You can sell verses, hooks, whatever the, you know. So if you're like an aspiring person, you could, you know, maybe, but unless you know that that exists, right?
Yeah. No, I've gone 14 years in this shit and never even heard about that till tonight, bro. Dropping gems.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, I think that's.
This next question is about the first major setback that you encountered. And I.
Wait. In which life, bro?
Yeah, I was gonna say I know you've got a really special story. So however you want to tackle this, however you want to attack this, I got the popcorn ready. You know what I mean? Let's hear it.
Just like in my life or my music career?
Well, I mean, I don't want to give away the story, but I think like what we were talking about that someone had asked you to ask a question about, like one of the later questions about how it has affected you. I think that
okay.
That's a huge, like, at least when I first met you, you told me like the long extended story, and I believe that was like kind of like a turning point where you switched lives almost, if you will.
Yeah. So in 2008, well, let's just say we don't want to go all the way back there. Let's just say like so what ultimately ended up happening was somebody got in trouble for growing some weed. Oh shit! I think my dogs want some more. And they said I had taught them how to do it.
Mm.
And so I ended up having to go away for a little while, and yeah, I had to just stop, you know, everything at that point because I, you know, just kind of lived a certain way for so long that, you know, it was just like one thing about me is I'm not going to jeopardize anybody around me, you know. So if I'm catching heat or something, like I'm cutting off all my phones, you might not hear from me for years or whatever, right? So, just my life changed, man, like in the blink of an eye, and you know. But somehow it's funny because I hear this in other people's lives too that are like involved in music and shit, but like music just kept popping up, you know. It was just like always there, you know, and it started being more like attainable, I guess, you know, with technology. Like different changes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, dude. So I had to go away for a little while, and then when I got out, it was like I couldn't live that life anymore. So it was a fucking, it was a, it was a trip. It was really difficult. You know, I would say I've heard a couple people say it too. Like having like a coming from where you have like access to a lot of money and like a lot of power in terms of like being able to get people to do things for you. There, dude, and having to when you go to a place of not having that anymore after having it, it's pretty fucking crazy. You know, I can see why. You know, bankers jump out of fucking 45th story windows and shit.
Yeah.
They just can't imagine having to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, it's been like that's been a process, which is kind of like, uh, very crazy to the spirit of like my artist name, which is the Fonzarelli Project, because the whole thing with that is like, it's like a never ending project, right? If you're always trying to be a better person, like get closer to perfection. Right?
Damn, that's hella fire. That's such a
So,
good meaning behind the name. Nice job.
but yeah, man, I just had to start doing shit in a legal way. And so one thing about it is unless I'm like framed, which I pretty much, you know what I mean, almost was last time. Like they came that close. Basically, I'll say this: cops had to go. I wrote this in a bar. I was like, I was so clean. Cops went crooked to pop me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like cops had to literally like become criminals themselves, like break laws and like fabricate stories and shit, fabricate evidence to like get me.
Yeah,
Right.
that's fucked.
So yeah, so it's just like, but at this point, it feels good, man. Like not having to look over my shoulder. I remember when I was living that life, so it was just stressful as fuck. You know, always looking over your shoulder. You never know, like, you know, you get stupid people that call your phone sometimes and just slip up and say the wrong shit on your phone, and you're like, dude, that could be all that it ever takes to get fucking brought down. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's just like living with that stress. But I was just like driving home one day, and I just looked over and I was at a stoplight, and it was fucking pouring rain. This is in Seattle. I had like a fucking pretty new like BMW something at that point, like a what was it, a 540 or something. But I saw this guy at the bus stop, and he's probably, and I just like, I don't know, man, it felt like one of those movies where like this two people like see each other and connect and can see each other's whole lives. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Or what they think is their lives. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like, man, this dude probably fucking hates waiting for this bus, because I remember living in Seattle with nothing. You know what I mean? Having to be at the bus stop and shit. And I was like, this dude probably looking at me like he wants to be in here. But little does he know, with all this fucking shit I got on me right now, this fucking stress, I would much rather be him at that bus stop right now.
Hmm.
Y'all hit that? And it was just like, you know, I just that moment's always stuck with me. So when like my whole like life like that came to a screeching halt, bro, it was like, you know what I mean? It was like almost kind of like a bit of a relief.
True. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and it sounds like you did the best thing that you could, like given your situation. You used music as like a catalyst to be able to like to change from that lifestyle. Because yeah, I can't even imagine the stress like that, like always looking over your shoulder. Like it's just, yeah, like it would eat away at you for sure.
Yeah, it's stressful, bro. You can't even like you'll be in a room full of kids laughing, bro. You can't even enjoy it. You know.
True. Well, on a happier subject, and I know you probably have a lot.
You had a setback.
No. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. I'm just like purposely, I can't talk sometimes, set up the questions in a way where like we get a little dark, but then there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. We're approaching the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, you know, you gotta. It makes for a better story at the end.
True, for sure. But do you want to tell us your favorite studio or recording setting memory, or maybe recording session, if one comes?
Man, I've had a couple good ones. I remember one was with the Shop Boys. Okay. You remember the Shop Boys? Party like a rock star.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. They came in one day. That was a lot of fun. They had a show here. They came in after.
Nice.
That was fucking dope. Another studio. I mean, I just had a lot of really cool ones with like my boys. I remember one night, it was my homeboy. His name's Joe Boy. He's on that song "Motivated" with me,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a party for him. I threw up some beats. I was just like, I got 3 beats for you, bro. You know, I'll make you 3 beats. We're gonna do an EP project tonight for your birthday. And I was like, bring whoever you want over, as long as they sign over their verses to you. Like, I don't want to do a shitload of paperwork. You know what I mean? And so yeah, dude, we cranked out fucking 3 songs that night, back to back, all fire.
Damn.
It was crazy, house full of people. It was like a fucking party.
That's
Like,
awesome.
super, super fun. Yeah, that was
sick.
a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, it's more about the vibe, you know, and like the reasons why I got into this, rather than just like names for me.
I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it. Kind of goes hand in hand with that one, this question. But do you have a favorite project that you've worked on so far? And this could be something of your own, or, you know, just something that you worked on for someone else that you like, you're like, this is like, damn, some of my best work.
Yeah, I actually have like, so there's a project I worked on, and it was a guy out of New Orleans came, and they asked me to make like, I think this one was 3 songs too, maybe 5. It was either 3 or 5, but they wanted me to make the beat, right? And so he came, flew in, I made the beat. We kicked it though, you know, for like days.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, they wanted me to have it like done with like live instruments.
Mm.
So then we went down to the salt mine, booked Studio A there. Like, my homeboy Quan is the guy who was like the investor, like the executive producer.
Oh, okay.
Basically, the money behind it, basically. Right. But so we had fucking, bro. It was just fun. You know what I mean? It's a lot of fun. We had mic'd up drums. You know, I just did what I was just in a zone where I felt like it was where I want to be all the time, right? Kind of some of like my favorite heroes, I like to call them, are just like Quincy Jones, and where it's just like you're not necessarily on the boards the whole time. You know how to do everything,
right?
But your time is better used. You know what I mean? Like putting things together. Hey, buddy, chill out. This guy's going crazy right now.
My dog's actually been she's been snoozing hard right here. I don't know if you guys can see this. Oh, that's there we go. She is asleep. Cool. Well, we're about at the halfway point, so I was gonna take a little intermission. Maybe get into any songs that you're currently working on. Is there anything that you wanted to share with us before we get into the second half?
Yeah, trying to get things cracking again in terms of like just getting into like a rhythm of putting out music and content.
Mm-hmm.
So I just started out with this song called the F I Wanna. It's really called The Fuck I Wanna, but obviously I can't put that on all the platforms.
I feel that.
So it's a little bit of a vibe. You know, I have like a big rock influence. So you'll hear that in there for sure. It's just like a bluesy guitar sample that I was fucking with. It's like actually like an instrument I have in like contact. But yeah, I was just messing with that one day, and I was like, I was listening to like some shit where they were talking about when they were going in on Joe Rogan, and then shortly after they went in on Dave Chappelle. And so for me, it's a song about you know, freedom of speech, and you know, so there's a little bit of those inspirations in there. So it's just called Fuck Up. It's called The Fuck I Wanna.
Bet. Well, we're going to go ahead and get into that. I just shared a link in the chat, so if you're listening along and you want to check out the F I Wanna after the stream, definitely click that link. It's got all of your platforms for whatever you need. This is the F I Wanna, and we will be right back with the Fonzarelli Project. That was the F I Wanna. That was a vibe for sure. That shit was groovy.
Hey, dude. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, for sure. So, I know you mentioned, did you want to get into a little studio tour of the new spot?
Yeah, let me show you around a little bit.
For sure. We would appreciate that.
All right. So one of the things I like about this place is just kind of like the contrast between where we're at, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just show you a couple of things real quick. All right. So I kind of like the fact that we're like upstairs.
Oh, that's tight. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we're upstairs. We're in Arizona, so everything's pretty flat around here. You don't really get up here very much unless you're
True
like in a
that.
hotel. Okay? So that's always cool. And then, it's kind of not like a very new building, right? Which is kind of like, I kind of like that about it. I feel like it's like a LA or New York type situation, you know, not all nice and fancy on the outside.
That's good.
But anyways, when you walk in, it just kind of opens up.
Damn,
right?
That's super nice.
So that's kind of where I was sitting at a minute ago.
Uh-huh.
That's just kind of where I just imagined like a person would want to sit and maybe listen to the music and write, just kind of get away from, if maybe they've got some friends over, they're trying to focus and, so, or you can sit here, pull up another chair, have a conversation with somebody, do an interview, whatever,
True.
And then, so you come on in, it opens up there. We've got like a little, situation here where you can have like some drinks. I'm just trying to make it comfy.
Yeah.
And then it opens up here. You've got, obviously you're going to have a place to sit for people to sit. Got a, little couch situation there. There's my homeboy killing. We've got some pretty nice stuff in here, working with Universal Audio Apollo Twin for the interface.
Mm-hmm.
Got some pretty cool mics in here. Cool little area to kick it here. This door back here leads to yet another room that's under construction right now because we're doing like a podcast room in there.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. So, we got some color. We got a little bit of a color splash in there. I did all this. You got these walls are all suede.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, these walls here.
Okay.
I painted everything in here. I mean, this place it was like a shithole when I got it.
Yeah.
No, no floors. There's like glue all over the floors.
I saw the pictures, your before and after picture, bro. You put in work, bro. And I saw you posting like every day, like going back, like, oh, I'm going back,
bro.
Like crazy.
Hang on. This guy's going fucking crazy. Hey, get over here, bro. Little bro, get over here. Yeah, dude. And then so, walking back out through here, back over to this section here. In this room, you've got the mic room. Okay. So, little bro, come in here. Get over here. So, it's a pretty big space.
Damn.
Yeah. I'm going to probably put like maybe a little chair or something back over here, like something a little more comfortable than a stool. Mm-hmm. But in here right now, we've got the Neumann U87.
Yes, sir.
So, we've got Classic. We've got some big dog shit.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, man, it's cool. Come in here.
That's fire. Well, I appreciate you sharing your space with us virtually like that, taking us on a little virtual tour. The space looks awesome, dude. And it definitely looks like beyond something you would go, like somewhere you would go to be productive. It also, like you were saying, looks like somewhere you could chill. You could have a little album release party or like whatever you wanted to do. That's really, really tight.
Yeah, somebody did a video shoot the other day here. I wanted to make sure everything was modular,
Mm-hmm.
So we can get rid of the couch. Couch doesn't have to be here. We can move it back here. We can, we can do whatever, dude. We try to accommodate whatever your needs are.
That's really tight. That's super tight. Yeah. And shouts out to you for taking the initiative to provide a space like this for everyone to utilize. Because like no one, like, you're not doing this for someone else, like someone that was like, yo, build this. You were just like, you identified a need, you built it. And so like kudos to you. Like that takes a lot of like courage. It takes a lot of time and effort. And so I like, we should recognize you and the work that you've done in order to, you know, for the greater good of the sound of people in Arizona. So respect to you for that.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's cool just seeing people use it right now, you know, and like trying to iron out wrinkles. I want to get some more producers in here as a group so I can figure out like how to wire this place so that they're like different workstations.
True. I feel it.
Yeah.
Well,
kind of like almost like Tiny Desk.
Oh, okay. I got it.
How they'll be in the record shop, but like homeboy will have his keyboard on where they have the record counters or something. You know what I mean? So things can double and be like they can serve utility. They can have utility, I guess.
I feel that. Okay, for sure. Well, getting into the second half of the podcast, everyone knows that we let the AI overlords let us know what we should be talking about with our guests tonight, and I asked them what we should talk about with the Fonzarelli Project, and I've definitely got some good questions. So, the first one is, and we're just starting. This is a heater right off the bat. Here we go.
All right.
What role does psychology play in understanding how different sonic elements can evoke specific emotions in listeners?
Okay, say the first part of that again.
Yeah, I know, it's a lot. What role does psychology play in understanding?
I mean, I would say psychology. I don't know if I'm answering this correctly, because when you say psychology, I tend to think about like people's thoughts and behaviors. But when I'm like making a song, sometimes it's just as simple as like, there's somebody in the room tapping their foot or moving with it, you know, and I'm not so necessarily interested in what they're thinking.
True.
Or why they're thinking.
You're looking for like physical signs, like the foot tapping.
I'm looking more, of a reaction, right?
Okay.
But I do understand where, like, you know, I'm gonna make like the other day, I made this song called Drunk Dial, right? And it was just like a little bit of like a song where you could go a little sappy if you wanted to. Damn, what happened? I wonder what happened to my dog. Dude, what happened to my dog? Is she over there trying to eat or something? Shit. Cleo, come here. Come here. Dude, my dog just fucking cut her leg. I hurt her leg. Come here. Hang on a second, bro. I'm so sorry.
No. Yeah, no worries.
Jump off the couch. You okay, girl? Man, she like. You okay? Damn, this is Cleo, you guys.
Damn, shows out Cleo. One time for Cleo. She's posted right now, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. What was your question, bro?
Well, we were talking about like psychology, and like what role it played in understanding, you know, how the different sonic elements evoke specific emotions in listeners. But I think, like you were saying, like not necessarily the psychology, but you kind of look for like the physical, like reactions that people have, you know, based on those sonic elements. So. We can get into the next question though. It's a little easier to understand. That was dense. That was dense to start out with. I'm gonna take that back to the AI overlords. I'm gonna let them know that's a little much to start with. Okay, a little much.
I probably should have split hairs there to jump off though.
That's right. But the second question is, How do you handle creative disagreements with artists while working on a project?
Here I go again. Just depends, man. If it's their project, our project, or my project.
Okay, what about, can you give us a short answer for each of those options?
Okay. If it's their project, ultimately, like, in most cases, like, their decision, you know, they call the shots. But, like, I can't, like, there's certain things, like, that I can't send out a bad mix. You know what I'm saying?
True.
You can't, like, I ask people not to show roughs. You know?
Yeah.
So I've had people show roughs on, like, some of these radio shows, like the little internet radio shows or whatever, that, like, people do ratings on stuff, and it's just like you'll see in the comments they're just like, who's the engineer on that? And it's like, bro, there was, like, literally no mix. You know?
Yeah, you just got done tracking.
Like,
yeah, just got done tracking. That's crazy.
You know, so you know, in that regard, I ask people to have, like, a little bit of, like, respect for what I do, like the name I'm trying to build for myself. As far as, like, a project that is our project, you know, if it's a creative thing, I don't see why we can't do both or try to accommodate both. You know, if not on this song, maybe another song, or, you know, maybe accommodating both will create something that is new that we weren't expecting. You know,
Sure.
So you can't ever, like, sell yourself short. You know, I, like, one, and this was even on my own project, right? So maybe this answers your question for that too. But this guy came in with somebody that I invited over, and he heard me mixing 6 a.m. in Phoenix, and he hadn't even shook my hand or anything yet, but, you know, he was just like, hey, man, he saw the recording room, and he was just like, not here, but he was just like, hey, man, can I sing on that? And I was just like, you know, I don't even know, like, I've never heard him in my life, nothing. And he was
never
like,
shook his hand before.
Nothing, bro.
That's crazy.
And, like, it was really humbling, though, because he was just like, you know, he's like, you can erase it. He's like, I'm just really feeling this song. And I was just like, let me back up. You know what I mean? I was just like, wow, that's a big compliment. Like, you know? And so I was like, yeah, dude, by all means, you know?
Uh-huh.
So he went in there and sang the backing track on that song, bro. And it was such fire. And it taught me to be, like, more open-minded.
Damn. Okay. Hell yeah. That's a fire ass answer to that question. You turned it right on its head. And then I think there was a third. Well, if it's I mean, there's no creative disagreements if it's your project, right?
Well, I mean, there still is. You know, like, if somebody writes a 16, and I have to, like, and I'm like, bro, like, we're only doing 12s, you know, something like that, for instance, or if it's just like I'm not digging a verse, or you know, just shit like that. Sometimes I've asked people to do things that, like, if we're trying to, like, get more of, like, a placement or something for a video game, it's like, hey, dude, can you know, make it a little more palatable for, like, 14-year-olds playing video games and shit.
Yeah, for sure. Try to hit that target audience.
Yeah, and not be so generic and, like, contrived with it, but, you know, maybe just tone it down a bit.
True.
Even though, you know what I mean? Try and do it with a conscience.
Yeah.
You know, not necessarily crack to 14-year-olds.
Yeah, I mean, you got to walk there's a thin line there for sure, because,
yeah,
you know, but
I go back and forth with stuff, but
yeah.
No, leave her alone right now, buddy.
The next question is, can you share a memorable experience where your creative decision significantly transformed a song? Like,
Probably have to be on somebody else's music, then, is what you're saying, yeah?
Probably, yeah. I'm thinking more, like, creatively for, like, engineering, yeah.
I can't remember the song, like, well, I'm really bad at this. It's so funny that I'm bringing up this guy's project too, because him and I had a debate on whether or not I'm a true fan if I can't remember the name of a song, and I'm the worst at remembering song names. It'll be like All Eyes on Me, song 4 is how I remember shit, right? Mm-hmm. So, but anyways, I put this guitar on this dude's song, right? And usually like in all cases, usually he gives me free reign to just do my thing. Because he'll make his beat, and then I'll take it and then do my thing, right? So I added this guitar, and he took it home and said, I think on his next visit over, he was just like, yeah, no, on the next, the next day he texts me or something like that. He's like, yeah, my girl's not really feeling the guitar, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, cool, like, no biggie,
right.
And so then he came over for his next session, and he was like, my girl absolutely loves this song, like, don't change a thing, So there just been like a lot of times like that, situations with him particularly on his projects, where it's like, yeah, I just will kind of, I kind of feel like he just kind of was telling me kind of what he's going for, mm-hmm. And then I just go through and kind of like make more space, I guess, right?
Got it.
Like Sonic.
I think this next question is literally exactly what you're talking about right here. But could you shed light on the collaborative dynamics between engineers and artists and how they influence the final product? And I think it's like, again, exactly like what you were just saying.
I mean, I feel like a good engineer, that's the difference between a shitty engineer, a good engineer, a great engineer, right? Like, I get a lot of compliments, mostly like in terms of like where it's just like, hey dude, thanks for like helping me, like, just kind of do that how I wanted to do it, instead of just how I was just like being lazy, you know what I'm saying? So it's like pushing them and just not being like, yeah, that was a cool take, and just
not
being like
settling,
and just kind of like, again, soft skills, bro. Like, you have to like know how to keep them in that zone and not break confidence, especially if it's like a brand new artist that, like, not necessarily brand new, but, well, especially if they're brand new, but if it's a first time client seeing you, bro, it's like, how are you don't even know that person, right? Unless you spend like, which in most cases you don't really spend 10 or 15 minutes bullshitting too much, like on a personal level. It's very surface.
Yeah.
So it's like, how you're dealing with the person's art, you're trying to figure out how to make it best as you can. So,
okay.
Does that answer it? What was the question again?
The question was like just asking about the, you to shed light on the collaborative dynamics between engineers and artists, and I think that you touched on it in the question before, and I think you touched on it more there. So I think we're good with that.
I have another side of that too, that was kind of like a blessing in disguise. Like, this whole engineering thing has been a blessing in disguise, bro. Like, I didn't even plan or set out to do it. But in working with so many artists, bro, it's like helped my music tremendously. Because remember how I was saying, when I was taking those classes, worked on helped me by working on my music lessons. Go.
You could like apply what you were learning.
Right. And so now I can apply that learning to several different styles. And then, when it comes to making my own shit, it always just keeps it fresh. So, but yeah, there's two sides of that, man. The artists definitely have influenced like a lot of my music, and like a lot of like reasons why I've looked up certain tutorials and learned different things, because they want a certain thing, right? So it's a two-way street, dude. It's really cool.
True. I hear that.
Buddy.
This next one's a little more tangible, a little more qualitative. What key factors do you consider when choosing the right sounds and effects to enhance a music track? So so when you're choosing effects, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say so much effects. I think I could, well, definitely, but I think I could answer it easiest. And like, I think my best work comes when I can like, it's part of why I don't finish beats, right? I don't finish a beat until I got an artist's vocals on there, at least to give me some direction sonically, but also because depending on what they're talking about, I can really take the song to another level. You know, if I treat it like a movie and I score their vocal, so to speak. So if they start talking about some really like heartfelt stuff, I can add some strings, or like I can make a drop and add strings, or just I can magnify the emotion and what they're saying. If I can kind of work with it in post a little bit, it's kind of how I, you know. Damn. So that's kind of like where I'm at my best, or like where I can really show that best. I guess I'm gonna move over here and plug my phone in.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense for sure. You're kind of treating like the it's almost like sound effects or like Foley, like from a movie. You know what I mean? Yep. Depending on you know, what they're saying in the verse. That's unique. I have not heard a lot of engineers, or any engineers really, with that.
I think that's more like producer. But engineers do that shit too. Like if they hear like a better drum, sometimes they'll swap out the drums. You know? Got it. I mean, you have cases in the old days, bro, where... Hang on. Can you see me?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, dude, they had fucking sessions of the Beatles where they just took out fucking Ringo's drums, bro, and they had a session player come in.
Damn.
Yeah. That's so wild. You're talking about my story, but in the grand scheme of things, bro, like, yeah, engineers are fucking everything, you know?
True. What they say everything goes, you know, they're literally controlling it, so.
I mean, they just can, you know, they're the ones who know how to do it, that make it happen, so.
Yeah, hats off to engineers everywhere.
Yeah.
This next one's more theoretical, but how has the rise of streaming platforms changed the way that you approach mixing and mastering?
It hasn't.
Do you think that this is one thing that, at least with my personal music, has affected streaming platforms, has affected my approach? Do you find yourself making shorter songs now in 2023?
Oh, with that, in regard to that, so it's not the platform necessarily, but people's consumption.
Yeah, well, I think that the streaming services are what is feeding that fire, if you will.
I mean, I guess I keep it in mind, but like I feel like it's like you know, certain songs have to make a statement, right? So either you got to be more concise with what you're saying in your songs, or like so yeah, I mean they definitely have influenced it, but you know, I think if you're like a talented enough producer, you know, which is what I'm striving to be, is like I'm always trying to make sure that I can do something in the song to keep people interested when they're just about to hit that like next skip button. Yeah. You know what I mean? True. What can I do to keep you engaged?
There you go. Okay.
You know, so I think that it definitely presents a challenge that makes you better if you can get, you know, if I can keep you engaged in a 5-minute song, bro, there's something going on there.
You're touching a real point within people. You know, you're communicating with something real. Yeah.
There's something, you know what I mean? Like there's some shit. It's just like, were we able to stretch that, you know, time where people don't typically spend that. So, but yeah, man, that definitely has made a big influence. But as far as the platform thing, I only started when we were already streaming, you know.
True.
I wasn't cranking out CDs.
I feel
so. But shout out to the people who were. That's just pretty dope. You know,
Mm.
I hear stories of people cranking out CDs and selling them and shit, and those are like, that's dope. You know,
Different
so
time. It was a different
yeah,
time.
different time for sure.
Um, well, this is the last one
Let's go.
from the AI overlords at ChatGPT. But definitely, if there's anything that you wanted to get into or questions that you had or things you want to talk about, we could do that. But last one, in your opinion, how does the integration of visuals and music impact the listener's overall experience?
I think visuals can like put a smile on a person's face.
Do you think that a song in the same way could not? Or like, do you think that it's required? Like, could the smile happen without the visuals? Could the smile happen without the audio, or do you need both?
It's like one hand helping another at this point, you know, and not so much like it's like waking up in a time where you have electric cars versus like living in a time where you have a fucking horse. So it's just like we're in a time where it's just like all our senses are satisfied from the minute we're born. In different ways, right? So to speak, like uh, we can like hear and see things way differently. We have a different expectation to be satisfied, like stimulated. You know, so I think certain songs definitely make impact, and you don't need a visual, but I just think it's kind of like, especially with how like uh, much media is out there, it's like people just they expect it. They expect there to be something.
True.
Even when people are like, you should make a video. It's just like they're like, hey, like, where's the other part of your product?
Yeah. So like people expect it, so they're not satisfied with just the music anymore.
Uh, I think maybe, because some people will hear your music and be like, "Oh shit, and they'll know your song, and they'll be like, I didn't know there was a video to this." You
Hmm.
know, maybe they just don't sit down and watch videos. They just like, you know. So yeah, it's just it's interesting for sure. It's it's crazy. It's crazy like being involved in this industry right now. It's like it's cool because it's like everybody tries different things, or everybody should be trying different things, you know.
Mm.
But there's like no formula that's going to work for everybody.
Yeah. You got to see what works for you, and what works for the people that consume your music, because maybe they
Right.
consume the audio, maybe they consume video, maybe they consume both. So
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing is to figure out who those people are and just like try to find out why or what you're doing that's keeping those people engaged with you or following you or whatever, you
mm.
know. Um, but yeah, I'm kind of like over the whole. I don't know. I feel like that when Instagram started doing the paid reels and shit just started getting real cringy, bro.
Because people are doing it
You
for
know,
money. Yeah.
just doing anything. It's just content, 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 and it's like I don't know, man. I like a little bit of mystery in my artists, in
Yeah.
my heroes. You
I
know,
feel that.
I like being able to be excited when there's like a new interview out, like something cool. I just saw one. Oh, Post Malone just dropped an interview with Joe Rogan,
Okay.
and I know that he's gonna have. It's gonna be like it's not a hostile platform for him.
Mm.
So it'll probably be a cool interview. But yeah, man, you don't have to know everything about everybody every fucking day.
Good point.
You know, for a while I was using all my social media like different degrees of depth into my life. Like Instagram was like where I would get on when I woke up and be like, hey, what's up? Good morning. Go fucking crack some eggs with you and make my
I
breakfast.
remember
You know what
those
I'm saying?
days. Yep.
Right. And then Instagram was more of like my business front page, right? The facade of like my whatever I'm trying to promote, you know.
Sure.
And then Facebook was where I fucking you would catch me on a bad day on Facebook. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody just goes in on Facebook, at least here. And then Twitter I never really got into, really, to be honest with you. But yeah, I like Discord. I like the whole Discord thing. I just haven't figured out how to use it.
Yeah.
You know?
I can tap in with you after this, but it's huge. I think it's the future, because this is kind of what I think about it. It's like you have to have a place as a content creator where you're constantly engaging with your following and constantly saying like, oh, we've got this we're doing now, like come support this.
Yeah.
But you don't want to do that, in my opinion, like publicly. You don't want to do that on your Facebook. You don't want to do that on your Twitter. What I think you want to do is post on your Facebook or Twitter your Discord, and then your Discord is people that have joined because they fuck with you. So
yeah,
you can go hard.
They're not happenstancely fucking passing by.
Correct.
They're like, they're tuning in. Yeah, no, I get it. Like,
shouts out to my community, by the way. Shouts out to the boys. I love you guys.
But yeah, my boy Dev's been trying to put me on it for a minute, you know, and it's like, but in understanding it, I've got some ideas how I want to use it in the studio, and that's why I want to, you know, have this place just like rigged, like with cameras and shit, so people can, you know, it can be like a Numenera's Discord, where it's just like different, you know, depending on the calendar, you might be able to see who's in here. If they want to fucking open their session up for everybody to see it, they can, you know. But yeah, different shit like that. I heard you can even like mix remotely on Discord.
No.
So if I was,
what do you mean?
I think so. Like I think if I was mixing, because I know I can set it up here to where you're hearing what's coming out of my interface.
Absolutely.
So basically, all you have to do is just be hearing it through whatever speakers you got.
The problem it's gonna be compressed.
Oh, it's gonna be compressed by Discord,
right? To make it like this audio right now. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Sure.
There is a platform that John Sullivan uses. It's called Audio Movers. Shouts out one time, Audio Movers, and that does provide you what you're talking about, where like I log into the session remotely and I'm connected to my speakers, and then it's like a true like FLAC level quality stream live. Yeah. So check it out, Audio Movers, one word.
So then, I wonder if you can. Well, that's some fucking nerd talk for later, but yeah, man. Essentially, I want to, you know, have this place just rigged up so people can, you know, stream here on Twitch and Discord, and just, you know, this can be just a channel. The studio can be used not only as like for everybody else.
That's a really good idea. I think that's a really good idea, for sure. Well, yeah, fucking embrace technology, dude. It's here. I think you can get ahead using these tools. And if you don't want to use it, that's cool. But I think that you're making it harder for yourself if you're not.
Yeah, you're just not taking. Yeah, you're like walking when you could be
running
in a luxury vehicle,
teleporting. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Well, I think it was Dev, because I saw that post that you did earlier about the questions. Is there anything that you wanted to tap into really quick before we head out?
Let me see. I think I had these notes. Let's see.
She has that one time to Kyrie the whole time. She's been out here.
What's that?
My dog has moved 3 times or twice into different positions, but she's still just here to snooze. She has chilled out with us the entire night. So if you're watching on YouTube and you've made it to this point, subscribe and share the video and comment just for Kyrie. Do it for her. Look at this.
Oh, nice. Yeah, little bro was completely opposite this whole time.
Big energizer
so
bundle.
yeah, somebody asked to talk about the struggle of entrepreneurs, engineers getting started after school. Yeah, man. I mean, it's just like anybody else getting started after school, but the whole thing is like it's really hard depending on where you live to get a job in a studio, and especially a job that's going to pay the bills. Mm-hmm. So that's always tough. That's why a lot of people move to cities like Nashville, LA, New York, you know, Atlanta, whatever. But here it was definitely tough. Being in school definitely helped because you got a network. That's the number one thing. But yeah, like I said though, engineering has been like a blessing in disguise. It's opened up a lot of doors for me as an artist that I don't feel would have opened up as easily, just because it takes you and puts you in a whole different bracket of, like, it just gets you in a situation where, especially if people don't even know that you're an artist, you're not their competition. You're somebody that can help them.
True.
And so,
True.
I always tell people, like, especially, I would say pair your engineering with something that can also help you um, get those conversations started. So, if you're interested in being a behind the scenes person, dude, like, get a fucking camera. If you can get a camera, like, everybody loves being on camera. You're gonna get in a way, like, an engineer can't just get into a venue. Doesn't have his gear with him. He already have a sound engineer.
True.
But a camera guy, dude, I met a 16-year-old camera guy who got footage of my show at the SOBRBE show. And dude, he didn't have a ticket. He was 16. He was like 18 and over show. You know what I mean?
Hustling.
So I would say just pair that with your engineering. My business degree got me an internship at Universal Audio based on my business degree. It had nothing to do with my audio engineering. I didn't even mention it to him.
Gotcha.
But everybody else who applied wanted an internship so they could work in the studio. They literally said I was like one of thousands, bro, who applied with a business degree.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I would say. And then just find some cool roommates, try to figure out a place you can work out of, or, but as far as my place here in Phoenix, Arizona, like, I'm in Mesa. I'm right off of Country Club and University. And this place is available for people, like I said, at as low as rates as $15 an hour. If you want to do like a monthly package or like a weekly package, we can even talk about lowering that price. But yeah, I'm here to help with all that. And yeah, if you guys are trying to follow me, you can find me on, I'll just give you my Instagram. It's at THEfonzarelliPROJECT, spelled FONZARELLI Project. And no, I took that off there.
Perfect. Yep, I just shared that in the chat as well. For anybody
Cool.
that might be tuning in, big shouts out to the Fonzarelli Project. Any final words? Anything like we say goodbye tonight
here? Yeah, actually, I got one more thing, man. If you guys want to be just a little more up to speed with what's going on, if you want to talk, beats, any sort of mixing services, anything, etc. I've got a number you can call or text. Actually, it's a texting app. It's through Community. If you guys are looking for an app, if you guys are artists, you guys should look that up too. It helps you with like mass texting if you want to like let people know when you got new releases and stuff like that. But it just gives like another added layer of depth to getting to know me and my music. I'm not gonna like spam you guys or nothing like that. But it's a phone number. You can text me there. It's 602 691 4855. I believe that's it.
Perfect. And I've got that phone number in the chat. So yeah, if you guys are trying to tap in with Fonz, get to know him a little bit more personally, definitely tap in with that. I've seen him do this before, and I think it's super fucking smart, and it does give you that extra added depth there. So definitely tap in with him on Insta, tap in with him with that phone number, and we're gonna get into one song as we close out here called Doo Doo. Do you have anything to say about Doo Doo before we play that one?
Yeah, it was just crazy. I mean, it's like the title's nuts, but it's just like a Bay Area slap. I grew up in Cali, North and South, so it's just a genre I've loved making for a while. I got my homeboy Devo on there. I don't know if you guys remember a group. They went crazy fucking viral way back in, like, I think it was like 2015 or 16, but it was called, it was a song called And they're out of Chicago, but he's on this song. But that song went crazy on Twitter. It was like a cipher. They would spit like 2 or 3 bars and just end it on, and then the next guy would jump in. But okay. He's on there too. So yeah, you guys check it out. There's a video for it too on YouTube. If you go to my YouTube page, it's THEfonzarelliPROJECT on YouTube. So.
Yes, sir. And then I actually got the Spotify link for Doo-Doo in there if they want to listen after the stream. But Fonz, I just want to say one time, thank you so much for coming on. It's been fucking great talking to you. I think we've learned a lot. And we'll catch you guys all next week behind the glass.
Appreciate you, bro.
Absolutely.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely, bro. We'll be back.
Come by sometime, bro.
Yo, of course. I'm gonna, dude. I'm gonna get you. We'll talk right now after the podcast. But we're gonna get into Doo-Doo by the Fonzarelli Project next week. We'll be back with more. Doo-Doo is the song title, by the way. That is not a fucking review of the track. I just wanted to make that clear. We're gonna get into it, Doo-Doo, and we'll catch you guys next week. Thank you guys so much.
Okay, man.